Good morning, everyone. It's 2/8/2020. I wanted to start off by talking about this story I came across about the California supervolcano danger. The study of USGS experts at the California Volcano Observatory in Menlo Park report that the three-dimensional full waveform tomography, which is the reading of sound waves bouncing around deep in the earth, revealed a reservoir under the Long Valley caldera of more than 240 cubic miles of magma with 27% of it hot enough and at the right composition for it to be liquid. If it all blasted out of the ground, that would make the Long Valley, located south of Mono Lake near the Nevada border, as cataclysmic as the Yellowstone supervolcano. Last super eruption 640,000 years ago that formed its current 35 by 50 mile caldera. And a caldera is the depression left after an eruption so large the ground surface collapses over a wide area. Long Valley has many hot springs, permoils, and even a geothermal system that fuels the Casa Diablo power plant. So it's just one more potential disaster waiting to happen. If that blew, it would be just as devastating as Yellowstone. So we have another about one of these super volcano calderas in the United States besides Yellowstone, and I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that. First I've heard about it. It didn't just get there. It's been there all this time, but there's a lot of stuff that we don't know anything about. And secondly, I wanted to give the latest update on the Johns Hopkins virus map update. And then that was figures yesterday about the coronavirus. And it'll be the last day that I talk about this and keep up with this unless we end up with a situation where the thing really gets out of hand or something, and they have to start doing over here in the U.S. They have to start quarantining people in cities and all this other stuff like they are in China. Right now, we don't know what the outcome of this is going to be. It's all of this is going to be left up to the Lord. So this will be my final update on this. And I'll give you yesterday's figures, what they were, and it's just a brief amount of figures. It's not all of the figures. And if you want all of the figures updated every day, you want to see it for yourself, you can go to the Johns Hopkins coronavirus map, is what it's called. That's what you would Google. And then up will come the things to click on to go into the map. And they made a map so that you can see how far this is spreading all over the world and how many cases are in each country and all of that. So I'm just going to give the update. I came across the fact that there was a map, and so I'm going to give you yesterday's figures. In mainland China, there was 31,530 cases. There were 638 total deaths, and there were 61 other cases worldwide. Now in the U.S., there was 12 so far. Singapore had the most with 30 of the 61 cases, and Thailand, Hong Kong, and Japan each had 25 cases. And the balance of the cases are in 12 other nations. Coronavirus is spreading on a cruise ship of 3,700 people quarantined off Japan, where 61 people have tested positive so far. So that's the final update I'll do on coronavirus on this channel for the time being, unless we get to quarantines here in the U.S. And then lastly is the biblical plague of bats, and this is just another one of these weird stories. Ever since 2020, clicked over on the map, the Holy Spirit told me everything was going to get 5 to 10-fold, all of the judgments and different things that occurred in 2019. Everything is going to be 5 to 10-fold more events in 2020. So everything is ramped up that much more, and we can certainly see it. I'm sure everybody can see it. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to try to cover. but I came across this story. Bat tornado descends on small Australian town. 300,000 disease-ridden bats launch dive bomb attacks. A nightmarish swarm of bats have taken over an Australia town, and parents pulled their children out of school with fears that they will be attacked. The bats are fruit bats. They have a type of rabies, and it's in an area that's north of Queensland. And the bats are a protected species there, so there's not much the people can do about the situation. 3 people have been bitten, and those 3 people died. There is no cure for that virus of rabies, and the name of the town is Ingham. And that's what I got on that. For the scriptures, I got Matthew 24:7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences. That's what we're dealing with a lot right now. And earthquakes in divers places, all of those things we're dealing with right now. And then lastly, Revelation 6:12 through 17. And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell onto earth, and even as the fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind, and the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island is moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman hid themselves in the dens of the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So we're in that time right now, the beginning of sorrows, and all of that stuff has started. It won't be long until the time of Jacob's trouble starts. And the purpose of all of these stories is just to get the point across that we're in those times of Matthew 24 right now that he warned about, and that all of those things would be fulfilled. Once that stuff got started, it would all be fulfilled. We're in that time. Right before this, everybody's, excuse me, everybody's waiting for Daniel 9:27 and that peace plan. And I don't know if that peace plan is going to work or not, or I don't know if there's another peace plan. I feel like that there's another alternative peace plan that's going to be offered. I don't know if Trump's peace plan is going to make it, because the Palestinians, Arab League, and some of these, Turkey and some of these other places, they don't accept that. And when Trump declared Jerusalem the capital of Israel, there were 57 nations that voted against that and disagreed with that. So I don't know if his plan is going to be the Daniel 9:27 or not. That's really all that I have for right now. Like I say, there's so much stuff happening that, we need to stick close to the Lord right now, and, pay attention to what the Holy Spirit is telling each and every one of us as individuals. And when somebody presents something, if it's a dream or a vision or anything like that, take all that stuff to the Lord yourself and pray about it between you and him. Don't just accept anything that anybody tells you or teaches you. Always make sure you take everything to him and pray about it, and ask him specifically, is what you just saw or heard or something, or is it really the truth, or is it a false teacher and a deceiver or whatever. That's all I got for right now.